One of the best ways of dealing with stress is to get to a place that is absolutely away from it all. We forget sometimes that stress essentially brings us to a point where we can't handle the situation anymore. It may instigate us to want to do something or not do anything at all. So stress has a certain job to perform, and essentially it's up to us to figure out what we want to do with it. There are basically two kinds of stress. Each person has a different threshold when it comes to stress, but acknowledging at what point of time do you experience either stress, which causes you to actually want to do some work, to actually get going. It's just enough stress to make you want to do something productive most of the time. Whereas distress is where the threshold is crossed over and you can't handle it anymore. You don't really want to push through anymore. You just can't take it. Either you don't take any action or you just basically hang around. That's the state of the situation. You don't really try to do anything about it. You're stuck in the heat of the moment and there's nothing much you can do about it. Majority of us experience distress in this fashion. And when we experience distress, the real factor here is that we are experiencing so much overwhelming pain that we really don't want to take any action. And that is the thing that you need to consider. How am I going to get out of this state of distress? Keep in mind that stress is everywhere. Stress is there within you. It's there amid the people that you hang around with. It's amid all of the situations that you may have to deal with. Essentially, stress is there. Now, there are many ways we can go about combating this stress. It's up to us how we want to go about transforming how we view the situation. Either, hey, I can handle this. This stress is kind of daunting when I look at it, but I can actually do something about it. I can do what I thought is not possible because I have handled this kind of stress in the past. One very common example is exam stress. Many people actually struggling with this, eventually they come out of it. A lot of people do face a lot of pressure to have to perform well in exams, to want to actually score really high marks. But once you study, once you've become competent enough, you've handled these kind of taxing exams enough, you get to a point where, hey, now I'm more confident about it. Now I am at a point where I can handle these exams. They aren't so difficult. And that is the case with most distressing situations. You learn to handle them in a better way over a period of time as you keep experiencing them. And that is the case with something that we can regard as predictable in our lives. Exams are pretty predictable events. So here, essentially, the two kinds of events that we experience stress in are the predictable events and the unpredictable events. Now, no one, and I mean no one, can prepare you for an unpredictable event. At best, they can educate you. They can take you through the flow of what happens with your emotions, what it's like. But once you're actually facing that unpredictable situation, it's entirely your experience. How you view the situation is completely up to you. And that's why, to some extent, educating yourself or being educated by someone else about how to deal with stress and dealing with a distressing situation, that is essential. So keep in mind that one very important thing. Am I facing either a predictable situation which is causing me stress, or is it an unpredictable event that is causing me to feel stress? That is what you need to think about. If you go about looking at it in these two different ways, remember that the unpredictable events are really not that controllable. You can prepare yourself for it, you can try, but how much you can deal with unpredictable situations unless they repeat themselves, that is entirely your experience. It's in your hands. Predictable situations, focus on the can-dos. There is a lot you can do with these situations. You want to work your way up to a point where, hey, I face these situations enough times Now there is nothing holding me back from actually using the intel that I have to actually transform myself and face the situation. That is essentially what kind of a state you want to reach in your life. You want to reach a degree of predictability that, yes, I can handle this distressing situation, no problem. So how are you going to do about it? Essentially develop and increase your own threshold for handling stress. Majority of people today, I would say, really don't have that kind of threshold when it comes to dealing with different types of stress. Again, it's a very specific thing that you can adapt to a very specific situation, but keep in mind that stressors will always be around. Acquaint yourself with the common stressors in your life. It may be traffic, it may be exams, it may be pressure that you need to be a certain person around certain people. Different kinds of stressors exist. But as long as they are predictable and you know that they are going to be present in your life, you want to equip yourself emotionally and strategically handle the situation. That is what you want to do. You want to reach a stage where, hey, I can handle this, no issue. Keeping all of this in mind, either you can deal with the situation or walk away from the situation whenever a stressor comes around. So is this a situation you can walk away from? Walk away from it. Don't ask yourself twice. Walk away from the situation if you feel that it is too taxing on you. And go to a place like this that is surrounded by a lot of plants, a lot of quiet, excluding the helicopter traveling behind me, of course. So essentially that's the thing. Getting to a place, being around nature, being around some kind of greenery really helps. This has been scientifically shown to actually reset your diurnal variation to where even if you have sleep trouble, you're depressed, you're anxious, all of that boils down to one moment where you can handle the situation, primarily because we become more mindful when we are around nature. You're always on your phone, you're always answering calls, you're always around people, you're always thinking about either the past or the future. When you're in an environment like this, you're surrounded by some degree of peace and quiet. That is essentially what you need whenever stress gets to you. So if you can walk away whenever possible, head out, go out somewhere, go to a place that is kind of peaceful. It doesn't have to be really far away. It can even be an overnight trip. But trust me, this does wonders for you. It allows you to hit the reset button on how you're feeling at any given point of time. And yes, we all have to go back and deal with the stressors once again. But remind yourselves that, hey, I have a chance of going back. I can always go and experience this kind of thing. So be around nature as much as possible. It is one of the best forms of treatment for any kind of either mental illness or just any kind of stress that you're experiencing. Be around nature as much as possible. That is what I would like you to know. And if you cannot walk away from the situation, you're left in a place where I can't handle this anymore, I'm kind of stuck. Now you have to confront it. There are times where I have personally faced where I had to write an exam. I didn't really want to go through with the entire process. The more you try to walk away from these situations, the more you want to tell yourself, I don't want to face this. The more pressure you put on yourself, the more stress you begin to experience, because you cannot overcome the situation that way. You do not want to experience the pain. You know that this pain is painful, but somehow experiencing that pain is stopping you from going through it to get to the other side, where you know for a fact that I will feel better. I will not feel as much stress once I am actually done with it. So on a personal level, I have experienced this where I didn't really write my exams. I skipped them and then I ended up writing them in a different semester. It was just so much more stressful to have to deal with it that way. Why would you want to put yourself through that when there is a simple, sure, short solution? Study for your exams, get through them. Exam stress is one of the most common problems that we face in India today. You don't really have to struggle with it. There is always a solution. And once you incorporate that solution into your life, you tell yourself, hey, this is just an exam. I am more than that. This is just a match where I need to perform well. This is just a public speech I need to give. This is just another business project that I need to somehow get through. Once you reach that kind of state where I can handle it, and this is nothing, no stressor in your life will be able to dominate you. No stressor can get the best of you. And your ability to handle stress also comes from your ability to move on. How quickly can you bounce back from having experienced a stressor? Because a lot of us, whenever we have mental ailments, we have either some kind of internal pressure that I just went through that. We attach a lot of our thoughts, emotions, and feelings because we have been emotionally aroused by the stressor to a point where it has caused distress. So can you acknowledge stress as something that is just eustress, which pushes you to actually take some kind of action, do something productively? How can you incorporate more eustress in your life versus distress? How can you cancel out some of the distress? Do you need to either walk away from the situation, be around nature, be in a quiet place where you have your peace of mind? You want to go hang around with other people? That's also a great way to deal with stress. Talking to other people about how stressed out you are, maybe getting a solution from them, whatever helps you. That's essentially what you need. So incorporate all of this in your own life. Try and find different pathways that will allow you to deal with stress in your life. And I promise you, once you get to a stage where I can handle anything, you are able to tell yourself that in any situation. Trust me, life doesn't seem that hard after that. Life doesn't seem so hard once you have everything in place. Once you're prepared, once you're planned for whatever is predictable, and you mentally prepare yourself for the unpredictable events, nothing can hold you back. That is essentially what you need to do. So prepare yourself, be ready for predictable situations, and mentally prepare yourself for unpredictable situations, even though you can only equip yourself so much. Don't worry too much about it. Focus on what you can control. Try and go places whenever the stressors get to you. Be around nature as much as possible. Interact with people, interact with friends. Get away from it all if you can. Otherwise, confront it. Confront the stressor. Believe that you are bigger than your stressor. Once you believe that I know for a fact that this stressor is not bigger than me, handling it becomes a cakewalk. So keep all of this in mind. If you found this video useful, make sure you leave it a thumbs up and comment down below. I want to know what you picked up from this video. Do you want to learn more about stress? What other area of your life are you struggling with? I want to know, and I want you performing better in every area of your life. I want you to become more and more empowered and motivated to actually become the best version of yourself. That is essentially what we're working towards on this channel. I personally believe that you have the ability to perform like a champion in every area of your life. And once you mentally equip yourself through the mindset training that I have on my channel, then you have extraordinary potential to actually get to what you want in life. Be it financial, be it performance related, anything really. Once you prepare your mind sufficiently, you educate yourself. By learning about this stuff, you become competent to handle anything. And that's the whole essence of this channel. So if you're interested in all of that, hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications. You don't want to miss even a single video coming out of this channel. Check out all of the videos that I have made for you down below, coming out on a daily basis, all designed to help transform your life. And of course, this is Vikram signing off. I'll see you in the next session.